Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Thank you for clicking on this video. So today I'm going to be doing a review and first impression on the new Tati Beauty Blendiful. Basically, this is a new blending tool that you can use for pretty much all of your makeup products. You can use it like throughout your whole makeup application without having to switch sponges or anything like that. It's a really intriguing product, definitely caught my eye, so I figured I would try it out on camera for you guys, give you my thoughts. Is it worth it? Does it work like she says it's supposed to? All that good stuff. So before we get started, if you haven't already and you think you want to stick around, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and the post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And without further ado, let's get into it. So before we get into it, I kind of wanted to give a little bit of information about this. Actually, first, we're going to open it up because I haven't even opened it yet, and then I'll give you information and then we'll go on with testing it out. So this is cruelty-free and vegan, and it comes in this little like plastic packaging. I'm not really sure what this is, and it has the cleaning instructions on the back. What really caught my eye about this first, like off the bat, is that you can throw this in the washer and the dryer to clean it, or you can hand wash it, of course, but that's really cool. I don't have any, obviously, makeup or beauty products that you can just like toss in the washer and dryer without having to worry about it, but it comes with two blending tools. This tiny one, it's like a little poof. This one is a little bit thicker, it's more dense, but it is smaller, so you can keep this one in your purse to kind of touch up throughout the day, which is probably what I will do. And then this one is the big daddy of the two. It's this giant tool. This one's definitely a lot less dense than the smaller one. It's really soft. It feels really good on the skin, and again, it's got like the little strap on the back also. Yes, I know my nail is broken. So it comes with both of these, and it is $18 for both, which is actually a pretty good deal in my opinion. Like the standard beauty blender is $20 for one sponge, so the fact that you get two, and this one is like huge for $18 is a really good deal. So the whole thing behind this is that you can use this all for one makeup application. You can use it for your foundation, your powder, your highlighter, your bronzer, all that good stuff, which you can clearly do with the beauty blender, but it is a lot smaller and you're going to be mixing product. This sponge is also not supposed to soak up as much product, so you're not wasting as much. Really, any blending sponge, you get a lot of product soaked up while you're using it. You have to wet it, you have to, you know, you got steps when you're using a beauty sponge. This one you don't have to wet or anything, and I like that it's big, so you can fold it up. You can use different parts of the sponge for different steps in your makeup routine. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I already did my skincare, but I'm just going to prime my skin. And then I am going to be color correcting a few areas. This little red dot in between my eyebrows, I was plucking them before I started filming this video, and I literally grabbed onto my skin and yanked it thinking I had a hair. So now it's nice and red. It started bleeding. We're fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. That soaked in a little bit. I watched her video kind of explaining the thought behind this, but I didn't actually watch her like apply it or use it. I watched Laura Lee's review, and then after that is what actually made me want to buy it. So I didn't watch anymore. I didn't want to be influenced by their opinions if it was good or bad or anything like that. So I'm just going to go about my makeup routine like I normally would. This definitely feels weird because I'm used to having like a damp beauty sponge, but we are going to use our foundation. I did a couple of pumps on here, and I'm gonna try and use like the top corner for foundation and see what happens. I just dabbed my sponge or tool in there, and whoa, we're going to start blending. It blended so easily. And I did do like swiping motions, but you could also tap it. And you could see on the sponge, it's like not that dirty. There's not a lot of product like soaked in. Not really anything comes off on my fingers when I tap it. So that means that the majority of the product stayed on my skin, which is probably why it's much more full coverage than using a beauty blender. And I'm trying patting motions on this side. I just want to see if it makes a difference in how well it blends out versus like the swiping motions. Okay, so this side I think definitely looks a little bit more full coverage than this side. I don't know if you can tell because of the lights, but there is just this one little spot on my cheek that still I have a little bit of redness peeking through, and I had some foundation kind of gather right here, and that I think is just from doing the wiping motions, but like gently patting and blending it out on this side, I see no issues. It looks really good. It blended really well like it did on the other side, and again, there's like no product left on the sponge. So and the amount of product left on here that I haven't used yet is insane. It is a weird feeling that I would have to get used to using this versus a sponge because number one, how big it is compared to a sponge, but two, just the different ways that you can apply it, and just in general the feeling of this versus like a sponge consistency. But I'm not mad at it. Let me see if I can turn this down a little bit and maybe you can tell. I do feel like there are some areas that look a little bit streaky, or my skin doesn't look as smooth as it normally does, but I don't see like a real issue with it. I think it does blend out pretty nicely. I just maybe am not used to this versus a sponge. So I think it is a technique I would have to get familiar with. Mainly it's under my eyes and then around my nose area. I also will say that I think because it doesn't soak up as much product, the foundation feels a little bit heavier on my skin than it normally does. After just putting on my foundation, I do think that I like the way the Beauty Blender blends out my foundation, but we're going to keep going, see how products layer with this, see how the powder sets with it. It could look way different after we're done. So we're going to apply some concealer. Okay, so for the concealer, I'm going to use the pointed edge, and I am going to fold it for the under part of my eye so I can really get in all of those creases in the inner corner, down my nose, and everything like that. So my camera battery died, so I went ahead and filled in my eyebrows while I was waiting. For some reason they look really dark today. I'm not sure what the heck is happening, but I also took a video with my iPhone up close of under my eyes. I don't hate the way my skin looks, my foundation, but for some reason I feel like my creases are way more noticeable after blending out my concealer with this versus when I use a beauty blender. I do usually still notice creases pretty bad, like on the inner corner right here, but once I set it, it's fine. But I could like really see creases more towards the outer corner. I'm not using any new products. The only thing new that I'm using is this, so I'm not really sure what's happening there. I did kind of take a little bit more concealer and pat it and blend it out, and it helped a little bit, but I just wonder how my makeup will wear throughout the day using this, if that makes a difference. And now I am going to use the Huda Beauty Cream Contour, or the Tantour, whatever it's called. That blended out really easily. I did not use a ton of product because, you know, as we have seen so far, you don't need as much product as you think you do, or you normally would with other tools. And it blends right into the skin with this. Like, it basically disappears. I will say, like, the blending technique for the cream contour is a little different. You have to like wipe and press at the same time. Now, time for the setting powder. To me, when looking at this product, the first thing I think of is a powder puff, and that is what powder puffs are used for. powder, translucent powder, setting your under eyes. So I feel like this is going to work the best with powder, but we will see. So I'm using my Huda Beauty baking powder like I always do. And I'm just going to, whoa, take the corner and bake under my eyes. You can still very clearly see the creases under my eyes though, which is so crazy to me. But we're going to pat out and press this powder into the skin and see what happens. Everything else looks pretty flawless though after applying the powder. I figured that this product would work the best with powder because it does resemble a powder puff the most, but you never know. So I have, well, not completely, but set my face, under eyes, chin, forehead, all that good stuff. I wish I would have been recording. I paused because Thomas was coming up here and I asked him how my makeup looked, and he did point out, he said that he thought under my eyes looked more wrinkly than normal. So it definitely is how I think the concealer blended out under my eyes, which is so strange, but it is what it is. So now, just for fun, I want to try and use like my bronzer and blush with this and see what happens. So I'm using my Fenty bronzer, one of my go-tos. Swiped it in. Whoa. Funny right here. It looks, blended the bronzer a little too low, but as you can tell, it looks really good and really smooth. It definitely deposits the majority of the product. I feel like mine's not really that dirty for everything I've used it with. I am also going to take a little bit of contour with the edge. And then now we're gonna go in with a blush, which I feel like is the scariest. Not bad. feel like I do have a little bit of a line. So I'm just going in with my brush to kind of blend that out. No extra product or anything though. Last, for like the face part of our makeup, is highlighter. I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline highlighter and I do want to go in with this little one and see how it does, kind of touching up and brightening up the under eye, because it is a little bit more dense. I think that I like the density of this one for under the eyes better. I don't know how it would apply concealer, but just like kind of brightening all of that up, I do like the way that it set the powder. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my makeup, do my eyes and lips, and I'll be right back to give my final thoughts. Okay, so I am back. I finished all of my makeup. I did go in with my bronzer brush and add a little bit of bronzer because that's the only thing that I feel like I didn't have enough of on, and I think it's because I was being very careful with how much I put on here. Overall thoughts, I do like it. It's not my absolute favorite. I don't think I'm gonna be like throwing away all of my beauty blenders and only using this. I do prefer to use it with powder versus using it with my foundation and concealer. Specifically concealer, it's just a no-go for me. I feel like I don't know if it's just because it's so big. Since I think it might just be the fabric and like really blending it out under my eyes, I want like a really thick concealer. Like I want everything covered, and I feel like that doesn't really do it. But other than that, I do like it. I do think, like I said before, it is a learning curve. It's definitely different than anything I've used before. I do think it's really cool that you can use it with liquid, cream, and powder. Like I said, definitely prefer using powder with this. Also really like this. I will definitely be keeping this in my purse to touch up throughout the day. I feel like it'll be really easy to touch up with. Other than that, I think the price point is really good. I do like that I can use this over and over and then just stick it in the washer. I don't think that mine got super dirty throughout this. You can clearly see like foundation, blush, bronzer, all that good stuff, but I don't think it's as bad as I expected it to be, and I think that is mainly due to the fact that it doesn't soak up a lot of product like a beauty blender would. So if I give you any tips, that would be to start out with a light amount of product. I think that if you use a really heavy amount, it's not going to blend the way you want it to. Definitely would be careful with the amount that you're using. You can always blend more, but you can't take any away without completely washing off your makeup. So just be cautious when using it. Just be aware that it is a lot different than using a beauty sponge. So I think you will have to learn how to use it and get with it. But overall, after I've done my makeup, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little concerned using it whenever I was doing my foundation. I wasn't obsessed with how my skin looked. I felt like you could still see a lot, but at the end, I think my skin looks really good. Having mascara and eyeshadow on and everything, it kind of helped, you know, disguise the creases that I had. So yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. I do recommend it, but just know that it is a learning curve. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some useful tips out of this video. If you like it and you want to see more reviews and first impressions, make sure to give this a big thumbs up. Also, let me know down below in the comments, are you going to be purchasing it? Have you already purchased it? I want to know your thoughts. If you haven't already and you want to stick around, make sure to subscribe and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And I will see you guys next time.